Today, we are going to talk about how school administrators can deal with suggestions that their subordinates come up with, or even let's call them ideas. If you're a school administrator, of course, there are people you're in charge of, and in a school, you're in charge of the teachers. So basically here, we are talking about teachers. You are in charge of all the teachers in that particular school. You can also use this idea in any institution whereby you are the leader and you have people you're in charge of. In a school, most teachers, if not all, come up with different ideas how to improve. If the leadership is open, their views are always welcomed, or they can even air their views during a staff meeting or during any briefs. They are allowed to. So how do you deal with them? From experience, what I found most of the head of institutions normally do, if you give them a view or you give them an idea how maybe you can improve something, for example, how you can improve the performance of students, they say, yes, we'll look at it, and then they don't look at it. Or they say, yes, that's a good idea, and then they don't do anything about it. They outline their own ideas and what should be done, and that is what everyone follows, which is okay. Actually, a leader is supposed to give the direction on where the whole institution is going towards. But also you find there are ideas which are good that come up, people you're in charge of. Instead of saying, I will look at it, and then you don't look at it, or you say that's a good idea, and then you don't implement it, or you don't find ways to implement that particular idea. If a teacher comes up with an idea and tells you, and I'll give you an example. A teacher comes up and tells you, because the Form 1s are performing poorly, it's because they need first to be told on how to study, or revision habits. Basically, how to study in high school. So, if a teacher comes up and tells you that is what they're supposed to do, you just tell that teacher, go to Form 1 and teach them, either during evening preps or during any other time when they're free. Combine all of them in the DH or in one class if they can fit, and teach them about these methods of revision. After you do that, you come to tell me so that I go next. If you tell this particular teacher to do that, you've already implemented and they feel that they've been listened to. As the head of the institution, you don't have to go and do it. They've already done it. That is the best way about this method. So they come and tell you, today as I was walking in school, the boys' toilets were very smelly. They've not been cleaned. Or they can even tell you there's a lot of noise during preps. You just tell them. Or some of them are even so nosy. They tell you a particular person is not doing their role well. This and this, that is what he or she is not doing. So you tell them, I don't know why they are not doing that, but you are the best person to do it. Go do it. Go ensure, because you are around during the evening preps, ensure that they've kept quiet. Just go tell them to keep quiet. Because if you've noticed, you're the best person to tell them to keep quiet. Go be doing it. Just tell them that. If the toilets have not been cleaned, you tell them, Ensure you know the boys who are supposed to clean that area and tell them to go redo it. And ensure tomorrow they redo it. By the end of the week, if you've been reminding them to do their daily duties well in the toilets, they will continue with the what? With the same good what? Behavior. Anything, just try this method. Anything. They come, they tell you, I think the assigning duties on students is not the right method. This is the right method. You tell him or her, go make an example of that rota and then bring it to me so that we implement it. So they can know if they are bringing up an idea, they are the one who will be in charge of that idea, the implementation of it. Because some of them come up with ideas that are very what? Difficult to implement, number one, or they are a challenge to implement, or they are not even productive. By this particular teacher practicing that particular idea or an opinion that they came up with, now they will know whether it is going to work or not. In the process of implementing that idea, they'll know whether it is a good idea or they can do it. Because if they can do it often, that means all the other teachers can do it. We are human beings. We always think we are the best and we know everything. You will also find that by applying this method of them doing it fast and doing it for, let's say, a month, most of them will not come up with bad ideas. They will not just come up with any opinion without first thinking about it and thinking about it long term and thinking about it whether it's beneficial. They will not just be even talking to you just that often, anyhow. They will think first about it. It works. I hope I'm making sense. If you've never tried it before, let me know in the comment section whether it worked for you. Blessings.